Hello and welcome to the Sketching Greyhound. Thank you so much for dropping by. I hope you're feeling as good as I am now that you're here. We are drawing today. It is Wednesday. The Wednesday stream is a little bit of an let's see what's happening drawing. No set theme. Fridays we have Buffy. On Wednesday it's a little bit open, and today we are drawing David Bowie. In one of his movie roles, he was a very good actor, if you do not know that, in Labyrinth, a movie I love. So I don't know why that idea only came today to me to do that, but we'll be doing it today, and thank you very much for joining. Okay, so hey Rainer, you were first. Hey Rainer, welcome to Reese. Was Reese your name? I'm not sure. You were first, yeah. Thank you very much for dropping by. I really appreciate it. How are you today? Okay, so Reese. Yeah, I think you mentioned your name last time to somebody else, so I remembered. I think the camera, once again, this software, oh, it's also not really sharp. Yeah, okay. At least the software does not want to activate some kind of face enhancement anymore automatically. So we are drawing today David Bowie in his role as Jareth the Goblin King in the movie Labyrinth. I love that movie. It has amazing music. I love David Bowie. And no, it's not a hint about how old I am. I was not able to go into the cinema when this movie was released. Let me quickly check out when this movie was released. When was this movie released? And why hasn't there been... I think actually it's a good idea that there is no remake, but it's just changed to... Oh, that's funny. I did not know that. It was released on my birthday, but not in my birth year. So it was released June 27th, 1986. So it is 20, 35, 40... No. I'm miscalculating. 4, 10... Yeah. 35 years. 35 years old. My God, that's terrible. Think about that. That is old. Okay, so I'm great now that you guys are all dropping by and visiting my chat. Thank you very much, Rainer. Reese. It's a hint saying you weren't old enough going into the theater. I won't tell you. I have seen that movie. I do not know when, but it was... So, I have a cousin. She was a really big fan of that movie. She had really big, those really movie poster-sized, movie theater poster-sized posters of that one. She still has it. It's a little bit torn on the edges, but still it is quite the... I think it is pretty much from the time when that movie was released. It looks really old. Hey Donna, welcome. Hey. Haven't heard anything yet. About what? Do you hear me now? The reference is in the reference folder on the Discord. Let me check again, but yes, I have posted it there. So you can get the picture from the Discord. Again, tell me if you can hear me. At least Rainer has gotten some information that I've talked about, so microphone should be in order. I am actually... I think I have to right some wrongs for my dog. 1 second. I'm back in a second. So my two dogs, they have two places where they can lie here in my room with me, and they like to scrunch them together so that only one place remains, and then whoever comes first wins. You are very egotistical animals. I love you. They're so cute. I love my dogs. Okay. Yeah, you can't hear me, Reese. I noticed. Hello, Dana. Welcome to the stream. It is such an amazing movie. For some reason, I just remembered this morning about the movie and David Bowie and everything, and was just thinking I have to do this. And he is. I'm mostly drawing those movie characters, and David Bowie gives us a very cool movie character to draw, so perfect choice. Let's see if I can do him justice. It's not that good of a detailed one. Donna, if you want to try this, check it out in the Discord. It is not the best quality. There is not a lot of detail in this one, so we do not have a lot of creases or something to work with. But David Bowie at that point in time, he was anyway pretty young still, and there is a lot of makeup, so there is not a lot of that anyway. I think most of the age of him you really only see in his stare in this picture. He really has this ageless but ancient character. He always had this kind of aura anyway, didn't he? It's just... I'm a big David Bowie fan, but to answer that question you had, Reese, I am, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I'm one of those 3 persons on the planet who do not like Queen. I do not like Queen at all. It actually became a little bit better. I really hated them. Now I can definitely now appreciate their music for what it is, and it is good music. It's just nothing I really enjoy to listen to, but it is for commercial music extremely complex, and that I really can acknowledge. It is a little bit like red wine for me. I hope you do not have that much experience with red wine, Reese, but red wine doesn't really taste good. Red wine is, for me at least, for me red wine is something you taste really because it's interesting, because it's different, because it can be an experience, but it's not, I would not drink it like I would grape juice, for example, or something that really tastes good that I could just check down. It's nothing like that, and it's the same with Queen. I can completely acknowledge and appreciate their music for the complexity and for the story it is telling, not just in the text but also in the melody. So, but Under Pressure is actually one of those songs that I actually like, and perhaps because of David Bowie's influence. I'm not sure. It is a great choice. Thank you very much, Dana. Perfect, Donna. That's good to hear. I have a head start anyway, so I think I can still drone a little bit on. As always, I have prepared a little bit. I've posted the picture. I will post the picture also a little bit earlier now every time, so that it is definitely available. So keep an eye out for the reference images folder in the Discord, Donna. And white wine also is not always good, but white wine does not have that complexity, I would say. I prefer white wine, but it is, you know, it is a little bit like good steak or French fries. French fries are always amazing, and you can ruin a good steak. It's not exactly like that, because steaks are still also very tasty and I could eat a lot of it. But difficult to explain. But let's I'm procrastinating. Perhaps you have noticed something, probably not, because it's not that easy to spot here in the camera. Actually, will have to try to change a little bit, because this is not white paper, this is my tan paper. Let me see if introducing it, you can see it a little. It is actually more of a sand color, I would say, in real life. It is a little bit, it loses vibrancy in the camera picture, but at least this way you can see it is tan paper. First time I'm ever using this. Really looking forward to see how the white reacts on here. But we will start like we normally start, and then add white afterwards after we have done the eyes, to make sure that if it is ruined because it doesn't work with the white, I'm completely ruined. Good. So steak and French fries. Exactly. That is both is great. So. But you would eat less steak, more fries, but probably only because they only give you always less steak than fries. I don't know. But I love fries, so. Crisp white wine, way better than red by far. Exactly. I much more prefer it to drink. Red wine is more something. Let me start the recording on my end for the time-lapse video. It is a little bit, it's not 100% balanced. Let me check if I can make it a little bit that the now it's a bit, you know, it's a bit, was a little bit tilted. It was like this. Now we are a little bit straighter, and now we will start recording, and I will start with drawing, because a rumor has it some people come here because of the drawing. I didn't know that. Somebody had to tell me that. I thought it was my mesmerizing personality that gets you guys here. So, but actually with this tan paper, as you can see more. My regular pencil works much better on this tan than it does on the gray. Yes, that was somehow expected, but still it is. I tried it for the first time, so it is a first thing that I noticed. I should not slurp like that directly in front of the camera. I'm very sorry, and I will try not to do it in the future. Steak is more filling, but tell me honestly, if they would put steak and fries on your table in an unlimited supply, how much steak and how much fries would you eat? Would you eat it the way they normally serve it to you? So that means one piece of steak and the rest is fries. Or would you not eat the steak at all? Or would you not eat the fries at all? Or in what relationship would you take the food? I can tell you I would probably eat as much steak as I possibly could, almost, and then I would fill up the rest, a little bit of the French fries. It depends on how good it all is, of course, but let's for this thought experiment, let's pretend that both is really good. So quality wise, those are really good crunchy fries and salted well. And the steak is, however you prefer it. I prefer it rare. If it is a really good meat, if I know that I will be getting good meat, it has to be rare. I want to do some art stuff, but I don't know where to put the camera. I have, let me give you, funny enough, I have an arm that is running. Oh, wait, I will tell you. I have a little bit more time, and as long as nobody complains that I'm not showing enough of drawing, you can people can complain. So I have an arm, you know. I have actually a second one right now here. So this is where I have the smartphone in, like that. And then it, this, you have the clamp. You have this, you know, that you can just bend however you want to, and then you have the clamp. And this clamp, it was on the floor, it's a little bit dirty. And this clamp is actually on one of my lights. So it is not connected to the table because I'm doing those time lapses, as you know. And if it's connected to the cable, it starts to vibrate. And then it just depends on however you record it and how high you have to put the camera for your picture. The camera here is actually, let me see if you can see it if I show it like that. So the camera is a little bit lower than the other camera. So if I would point it a little bit, you know, it is about so far out of the picture. So that is where my I have no idea if it gets dirty, but that was at least just okay. Yeah, if that helps you. If not, ask again. Normally do how they normally do, like medium. Medium is normal. That's right. Who found who first? Did find you first, or did you find Eve? Eve Harvey. I found her via, you know how you find people noticing. I'm actually not sure. I think actually that I got her as a I was visiting a lot of smaller art YouTubers. She is comparatively to me, she's pretty big, but I was visiting some smaller, and I think she was in my recommendations on the right side, you know. And I just clicked because dogs. I'm pretty sure she had a dog in the thumbnail. And yeah, then I saw that she was streaming. I went there and she was very supportive. She was very interested and checked directly out my channel. And yeah, that's how we started watching each other's videos and visiting the stream. Although she hasn't visited, I think she was in one stream once at live stream. But she's also streaming around this time, right? I'm not sure exactly when. Steak I prefer definitely over fries. I'm weird. I like it on the well done side with a touch of pink in the middle. Okay, Donna. I accept that. No, I totally understand that, and it is something that I actually also, as I said, as long as I don't know that the meat is really good, that it's really fresh, that's good quality meat, then I'm also very apprehensive about the idea of eating it raw, you know. And raw is never raw. Raw is just there. Did you know that, you probably didn't, but in Germany we are saying to raw cooked steak, we say it's English. So for us it is well done, medium and English. So if you go into a German restaurant and you would say I want it raw, it could come a little bit less cooked than you would like. They probably would not give you a raw one because that might give you an illness and you could sue them, but you know what I mean. So we start with an I. Yeah, she's nice. Don't you worry, Dana. We accept everyone. Even somebody who eats their steak well done. You know, the way I see it, you will never steal my steak from my plate then when we ever go out and eat together. So that's not a minus in my book. Donna, as always, when you draw this also, if you have any questions or if you want me to, that's not as always, but you know, from last time that I have now the ability to show stuff from Discord, so we can look at it live if you have a question or something. So my dad likes medium rare, I think, and my mom likes medium well, and I like medium, which is in between them. So we usually get medium because we all like it. I get to think. that is true. It's not always completely how you know it and how you are raised, right? It can be that you just try it one day and notice, oh, the other way I like more, but it's often like that, right? How you're used to it. It was actually a big thing always for me, because my parents weren't the most healthiest cooker, you know, so I was used to a lot of not ideal eating habits, and we never had water. We had always some sweet drinks, so I really had to force me to get used to drinking water when I started studying. I just hated water. I think we have to go as far as this with the eye, so I'm not sure if I made it big enough. So we don't have really any big light reflections in the eye. It looks already a bit strange, doesn't it? I'm not sure. But I will probably put something in there anyway. There is a light reflection. You can see it very well. Because it's not that bright, but we will probably make it brighter than it is. Although we have to keep in mind, on this side, we do not have a light reflection. Fun fact that perhaps not everybody of you is aware. David Bowie actually, I hope I'm not saying anything wrong, but David Bowie has two different colored I'm very sorry to say had two different colored eyes. So that is also relevant in the portrait, of course, because his left eye, from our perspective, the right eye, is much darker. So let's move to the other eye before I am too invested in that eye. So what kind of content do you want to make with art, Rainer? Do you want to do time-lapse videos? Do you want to do live stream drawing? What is your poison? Is David Bowie by? I think I heard that somewhere. I'm not sure, but could very well be. I don't know. Was he even married? I don't know. I mean, I think he comes from a culture where that's not really topic and issue anyway, so probably. So so 2 eyes, and they both look a bit But I think in this case, because of the extreme amount of makeup that we have, it will look a little until we have drawn a little bit, you know. So we will just put in a little bit of the eyebrows. And Donna, I think I will do a real draw along again also next week again. And it will probably be, if I find a good picture, it will be the Scarlet Witch. Most probably. I had at least one request of a tutorial actually for her, and my video for the Scarlet Witch is still getting always a couple of hits. You know, it is one of my the most how do you say it? It gets a lot of recurrent views. It is one of the older ones, but it still always is in my charts of most watched videos. So I feel like it makes sense to revisit her. I also just to say that I'm not that happy with how my pre-drawing looks. So I hope that all those issues I have with it looks a little bit like a fish and stuff. But I hope that all my issues I have with the pre-drawing will vanish when I fill it in, because I've measured it, and what I've drawn is not wrong, but it just doesn't really look that good. the lines I selected to draw do not make for an appealing image. Let me say it like that. So, oh, that's fun. The song is about fish on land, and perhaps my subconscious heard that and made me take the fish as a comparison for how I think he looks in my picture. You know, the subconscious is a strange beast. In general, the paper seems to behave not that different than the gray one, which is not a huge surprise because it is the same brand and the same name, so I would think the structure is probably about the same. It's just, of course, the gray one is much darker, and therefore my quite hard pencil is not really usable there. Let me see how far in that goes. That's a bit measuring time. So I need it actually to go about where the nostril is. And for that, let us just also draw in a little bit more of the nostril. So I actually have to check out if Labyrinth is available on one of the streaming platforms, because I really would like to watch it again. Such a fun movie. And looks like a lot of you are also still remembering it, so. Okay, so we have Nostra, and I think that one is pretty well positioned, and actually that that makeup he has goes up until almost or even a little bit further than the Nostra, so somewhere here. That means we need to bring it also to that level. That also means that the eyebrow has to be forced to be a little bit further up until there. Something like that, I would say. We'll try it. We can erase it. It is the very hard pencil that I'm using, so, but it kind of looks not wrong, so might be on a good way. On Netflix, you own it on Prime. I have it. I'm actually not sure if I even have it. I at least have it on DVD, but I think I bought it on Blu-ray actually. I think I have it on Blu-ray. Let me quickly check. But you know, they are all in a couple of boxes down in the cellar, and it is just so much easier. Let me mute this website so movies do not just start. We do not like copyright strikes, do we? Labyrinth. It's not in our country. That doesn't mean anything. But it's not available here on Netflix. I have to check if it is on Amazon Prime. Okay, so, but continue. I really love the movie too. I love the music. I love everything about it. It's just so imaginative. The Jim Henson dolls are amazing. And that's the good stuff, that they were using these dolls and this Muppet look, let me call it. Because that's pretty timeless, isn't it? You can still really very well watch this movie. Of course, there are some blue screen effects. These days it's green screen, back then it was blue screen. And they have not aged well. Especially in higher resolutions. I do not know in which resolution you have it, Dana, but you have probably also seen that that dancing scene with those thingies that can detach their limbs and stuff. That is just really... that special effect did not age well. I really want this to work out, because it's the first time, perhaps only time, that I will be drawing David Bowie. He played in another movie, in the vampire movie, very strange vampire movie. I think with Catherine Deneuve, not 100% sure. Very strange movie. I saw it once because a friend of mine really loved that movie. But I don't even remember that. I just remember that it was really strange and I did not really like it. But I don't know, if I would watch it these days, perhaps I would like it more. People change. Preferences change. As I said, I felt quite strongly against Queen in the past, not that strongly anymore. When we were moving, we gave away all our DVDs. True. Why? It's really sometimes I just don't bother walking down and getting it, even if I have it in 4K or something, and Netflix only has it in regular HD. So sometimes I just don't bother getting it. Having issues with my portrait of my friend's daughter is driving me crazy. Do you want me to take a look at it? We should probably not do it on stream, but you can send me something if you want to. I'll post it on the Discord, however you like to. And perhaps I can help. If somebody else looks at something, it's always sometimes it's normally easier for a third person. Is it called third person in that in that moment? I'm not sure. To tell you where there could be something that you should look at. It's always for oneself after a certain time of involvement in a picture. It's so difficult to really see mistakes. Or even stuff that you just have forgotten to shade and stuff like that. And thank you, Dana. I think the eye area is actually not too far away. Now we are getting close to when I can try the white pencil on this paper. I'm so nervous. So, having issues with my boy. Hello TL, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. How are you? Especially the eyebrows are just the perfect. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, as I said in the beginning, the picture is not that detailed. And he doesn't have any creases in his skin anyway. But for some reason, in that eye area, you have so much of his age, and you know, as I said in the beginning, the character is a little bit timeless, but ancient, and I think you can really see that in his expression. I think that David Bowie just has this magical quality anyway. So that's why I think the area of the eyes is for this portrait especially important. Perfect, Dana. I will take a look after the stream. So, you're great, that's perfect. You and everyone here is fine too. I am good now that I am streaming. I was actually very much looking forward to it. I do not really manage to draw much at all currently outside of the streams. And that really, I hate that. That drives me crazy, but at least I manage in the streams. So I'm very thankful for having them and having you guys here to talk to. So this nostril, I'm not sure. I think it's too low. I have to make sure that I do not draw with a too low nostril, because that brings the whole destroys the whole symmetry of the face. So I think something like this is probably better. You see, I have measured that before, but when you then start to draw in a little bit more detail, you have always to recheck. And also question. Sometimes you measure wrongly or you just make a small mistake. Never be hesitant to change stuff. And if you question it early on, do take the opportunity and try to check it out early and change it early. The later, the more it might have influenced other stuff in the wrong direction that you don't want to have it in. Yeah, that's my English. You're welcome. White. I will draw the first white on this paper because his nose warrants a little bit of a white shadow, but I should position it correctly. And if I measure that, it is about the same height as this. I will have to draw that a little bit deeper. So something like this. So, and yes, you can see the white very well. It looks perhaps a bit strange, but we will refrain from making final judgments until we have a little bit more on the paper. And it looks a bit strange. Not sure if I like it. If I like it. There's always a powdery quality to my white, to this white, because it is a pastel one actually, and I do not blend a lot with these blending sticks, but I like to do it with white sometimes because it's just very powdery and stark. Don't worry about that now. So, let me continue. This is now actually the other white pencil. You know, the German word is Stift that I wanted to use, and I mixed it with. And then we had stick. Okay, so back to the pastel, and I think we are on track. So he has a lot of makeup around the eyes. So we have to also give him that. The shadow here is a little bit, there is, in the reference picture you will not see it in small, there is an interesting light situation here where you have very a lot of light here on the nose, but then also a little bit beside, which is difficult to how do you say in English? Discerning? No. To divide from the other light, to, I don't know. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not sure what I mean. There is a strange light situation here. if I can make it more understandable than that, that has to be it. I'm not sure if we managed to replicate that. Hello Kira, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for dropping by. Really have to rewatch this movie again. It's been some time since I last watched it. Is a really cool movie, isn't it? I love the movie. I have just remembered it today actually for some reason, and I was just thinking, okay, now I know who will be my victim for tonight, for this Wednesday stream. How are you today? I actually wanted, when I was remembering that when I was deciding on him for today's stream, I was thinking I should get some Bowie-esque background movie music. But this song actually has a little bit of a Bowie quality. I did not manage time-wise, but on the other hand, how often can you use a Bowie-esque soundtrack for drawing? Not sure if it would have been very efficient to have a special Bowie playlist. I have to find some Bowie-esque music though for the video. Time lapse. So it is not very Bowie-esque and a little bit aggressive. You know what? We will go back to my standard playlist of not Buffy stream music. This is, we're going with a little bit less aggressive. We check if it is still, it should be loud enough. It has a little bit of a creepiness factor, right? But it's awesome, yeah. I'm okay. I'm pretty okay. So I'm glad that I'm drawing tonight. It's a little bit of an up and down at the moment, health-wise. But tendons is upwards, so all is good. I don't get as much done as I would like to, but I'm used to that, so not that terrible. No, I ruined it. So, mouth. I was thinking about drawing this line here. I think I want to have the mouth first to have it all in relation. Hey Rochelle, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for coming. How are you? So by the way, I have actually now a scene where I can actually show also Instagram. So if anybody of you has something new he wants to show on stream, to me and the rest of the watchers, I'm more than happy to show it. Do not be shy. A little under the weather, my allergies are but other than that I'm well. Okay, allergies is something you can't really do anything against, right? How is it with, you know, those usual, for example, I have a cat allergy, and I can very well live when I take those tablets, you know, those drugs for allergies. I don't know if they are called the same in English, the what's in those drugs, but cetirizine is the one, and there's another one, but they work well for me. Do they help you at all, or do you just have to accept your fate, your allergy fate? White is looking good on the 10 paper. Thank you very much. I hope it will. We will see it here when we have a little bit more, but you can see it at least. So it's not, it is pretty visible. So that was actually one of the question marks above my head, how big of an effect it would be. And it is pretty intense, although the paper is not that dark. So I think it is worth it. You know, it should not just look gimmicky or something, it just should really serve a purpose. And I think it really helps with the highlights. So this was one of my favorite movies growing up. I hear that a lot today. So I think I selected a good thing. I just remember this morning, for some reason, this movie. And that's when I directly decided, okay, it is Jareth. Jareth. Do I say it correctly? I hope so. You know, it took forever for me to be able to watch that movie in English. It was not so easy for me to get it in English. And it is... I always knew how he sounded in that role because they did not translate. Fortunately, sometimes they do, but in this case they have not translated the songs, you know, like they do always for Disney. German Disney movies. And that German dubbing is one of the highest quality dubbing you normally dubbing that you normally get, I would say, probably. I don't want to slam it too much, but there are really terrible things sometimes. You know, they have to fit those words, and German is a much longer language. They have to somehow fit that into the songs and still make about the same sense. So I understand that it's not that easy. That doesn't mean that I am morally obligated to sit through that, though. I have too many allergies, I think. Sometimes they work and other times not so much. Some of the medicines work and other times they don't. Yeah. Love to catch a live, sorry I have to run. But thank you so much for dropping by at all. I really appreciate it. And I am looking forward to see you again. So take care and thank you again. I'm using Strathmore toned 10 for the first time. You're also using 10? Ha! Did you do it because I'm using it? Or did you plan it anyway? Already. It's the first time I'm using the 10 paper, so we're trying this together for the first time. I like that. So we have a mouth. And we continue with the white here. My dogs are falling asleep behind me. That's why I'm looking there from time to time. I have been leaving them in the book. Will it work if I spray the Griffith sketches with fixative but leave them attached in the sketchbook, or should I be removed? It depends. I would think probably on the sketchbook. I would say you can spray them in there. You can try with the first, but I would probably... Perhaps Rochelle knows it better. Let me see if she... Oh, she already wrote something. Strong brown fleck fiber in it. So it is a little bit... it differs in shade overall. Is that what you mean? But you would be fine if you used to fix. I would say piece of tracing paper in between the drawings as well. Just be that sounds very good. And I would probably wait for every coat a little bit longer for it to dry before you spray again, so that it doesn't seep through. If you know what I mean. So, and I am always looking at the camera picture, because just like with the gray paper that I like to use, it looks a little bit more intense on the camera. So I can actually see it a little bit better where my white really is and how intense it is in relation to the rest when I watch the camera. So, but I think I am pretty satisfied with the relationships of each element and the position. I think it works pretty well. So we can start with drawing more shading, and I will probably go for the nose, the tip of the nose, and between nose and mouth next. If you're worried about the fixative you use with the tone paper, I would do a test page. That sounds like a very good idea. I should also do that before. I have fixative. I do not really use it that much, honestly. And my pictures are suffering because of it. I would probably use up a lot of fixative if I used it. I produced a couple of pictures by now. Actually surprising how intense this very hard pencil how intense it looks, because on the gray you almost can't see it at all, and here it is pretty very dark, very intense already by itself. So, nose. And just like that, we have a nose. First time I use fixative, I've actually sprayed and framed a picture of family member. Poor thing. That's exactly what you should, what they are used for, though, right? And I love that you have already hanged something. I have actually not a single one of my pictures is hanging here, but I'm always thinking about it. But I can't decide which one, and I don't know where. So they're just lying around. I think your family member should be proud and very happy that they are among the first that you have deemed worthy of a portrait. I think that is a high honor. Take a piece of time back, make similar marks, colors to what you have in the piece you're working on, and test that first. Yes. On both sides of the page, I just always make sure there's extra drying time. Yeah, that was the feeling I had with in a sketchbook, to use extra drying time. Never drawn in a sketchbook because I don't consider myself creative enough to have interesting stuff to do into a real sketchbook, so I never had one. But I would be careful with fixative seeping through, because it might, if you just have some droplets on the next page or something, probably be a bit difficult to draw on that. Not even sure, I haven't tried to draw on fixative. Does it only fasten? I expect it to change the way the paper accepts the lead. I'm not sure if it does, though. I had to make a victim of them. My daughter-in-law and 1 month-old grandchild in the garden. 1 month-old grandchild? Is it an older picture, or is your grandchild still almost that young? This is if she took of herself in the garden with babe. Oh, that sounds so cute. Closer too soon, it sticks to the tracing paper or opposite page. Yeah, I can imagine that. I've put it up on Instagram. I think I actually have a reel with the reference field. Ah, cool. Are you fine with me showing that picture on the stream? I can try my Instagram mode. Okay, let me check my Instagram mode. I don't have a button for it yet, but let me see. I have to stop my recording first, so, and then I should open it up before I do have you on Instagram, right? I have just to find out. Have it, but do I? Oh yes. let me check. So, okay. We go to my Instagram picture. Yeah, there it is. Let me check if I can. I've actually should have. Although no, I think it's good that way. It's really if I think about how long you are doing portraits now, Donna, this is really amazing. Look around the eye. I cannot zoom in here, but you have drawn in with white, right? The highlights. You really see it pop in the eyes. It's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. I cannot tell you if it looks exactly like the original, of course, but it looks like a real person. So very good and very peaceful pose of the baby arm. It looks really amazing. Really good. Yeah, it is really the adorable baby, exactly. It's really cool. Congratulations, Donna, and I understand that you have framed this and put it up. Really, really amazing. And let's see, there was another one in the sketchbook actually. You have it on Instagram, so I will show it here. That is also, look at the shading. That's already so, you are so fast, you are such a fast learner, it's incredible. Look at the hair. That hair is probably drawn in half the time I'm using, but it looks better than what I'm doing. It looks really dynamic. It looks like it's, I'm not meaning that you put no time into it or something, but it looks so dynamic. It looks really, really cool. I have to go closer for the details. So, really cool. Then there's me who hates drawn. You hate or you think you can't? I know a lot of people who say they cannot. And I always say it's training. If you want to, you can find a way. But if you hate it, you don't have to learn it. Obviously. Use the gel pen, the reflection. Rest was just leaving white space. I gotta say, I think I did a good job of mom. I think baby looks a little bit cartoonish. I don't think so. There is, if you think it is too cartoonish, that often is the case if you have used a lot of lines where you perhaps should just use shading, you know, for light and shadow. Do you understand what I mean? On my picture, for example, that you can't see anymore. If I would have used lines, for example, to really trace the eyebrows, thick lines, it would automatically become a little bit of a cartoon optic. So that there are a couple of lines perhaps in the nose area that are quite strong, but it doesn't look wrong. So I cannot say in comparison to your original that you have been using, but that could be something that goes into a cartoonish area, but I don't think that it's a big deal. Okay. The sun was hitting them. The original is in the real, I think. You mean somewhere? You mean? Look at it. It's also already very good, but from 25th of April to this in June, that's not a lot of time, and you can see already so much growth. It's really, I'm really impressed by everything, every new piece I see of you. It doesn't take long until you surpass me. Patch of light on her eyebrow, complete light. Is here the original song? I haven't noticed it. But okay. It's not... I don't even need the original, I think, because also this line here shows... You're not even using a lot of lines to show the dress, but it creates the perfect illusion of this frilly dress that children and girls often have. So also the on all the fabric here, also the you know, the folds, the texture, you can see the texture, the baby hair, it's always a little bit matted, a little bit more wet looking often, and you can also see it here. I really like it. I am really choose the blue sketchbook. That was the original blue sketchbook. Are you blue sketchbook? No, but this is also cool. I like the style of the hand and everything. It's really... Here, really. Ah, okay. I have continued. Okay. I've muted, okay. Muted is good because of possible copyright infringements. Otherwise. Okay, it might come still, but I think we have looked enough at one picture for now. Does anybody else, as long as I'm on Instagram, has anything else to, anything new to show that we should take a look at? My dogs want to punish me with gases. I will just go down Rachel's. Let me check. This is already also a little bit older, right? 3rd of July. Yeah, you haven't posted for a while, but look at the three-dimensionality of this every single piece here. I love it also, the colors that you've used for the shadow with that greenish turquoise in there. I really like this one, and this one is just gorgeous. Is that just... It's digital art, right? Yeah, you have painted on tablet. I have always wanted to try that, but probably not in color. He is just gorgeous. And those, this one is also the trees on here. I really love it. Really cool. But are you cool with me showing it here, Dana? I can change over to the... Oh wait. Then let me first go back to this drawing, and then I can check Instagram and asked for advice. That is the one that we had already, right? In where you have posted the reference picture. Yeah. So I will not show the reference picture though, as that is kind of a possible privacy issue. I will open that up for me so I can compare, and then we can go to the Discord view, and where is it? There it is. Okay, so what I'm thinking right off the bat is it looks a little bit hard. That is also, I think, because there are some lines that you could make a little bit less intense. Oh, you can see my mouse cursor. Perfect. When you want to show something here, this is in the ask for advice. If you want to have advice, if you want to just show something, there is the show your art folder. You can also post there. So here you have these lines above, next to the nose, which are not necessarily lines. These are very, it can also just be the photograph, don't get me wrong, you can see it, but as I said, when I watch my picture on the camera screen, it also, the white and everything always looks much more intense. So it might just be the photograph, and what I say is not really relevant for your result. But those lines are pretty intense. Also on the nose, this here, that gives the picture a certain hardness. I think I would go away for this picture, because she has quite light skin. I would go away from that idea of shading every single piece, every single quadrant of the paper, and go with a little bit more, or just concentrate on the necessary. That might help. It's a bit difficult. You probably don't want to restart again. Here the lip, this is probably also a little bit, it goes a little bit far out. So I'm nitpicky here. I'm not sure what are those things. This is a really good image, don't get me wrong. I should have started like that. I'm not good at at giving feedback, but I think the mouth is still a little bit far on the left. This part of the cheek is a bit more in the picture. Yeah, but this area, for example, is pretty spot on already. The eyebrows goes a little bit high. Should be perhaps a little bit flatter, but that's not really an issue. This area also looks very good. Also, this shadow that you have here, this is also very good. I would probably be a little bit straighter down here. This goes very round, although here is actually, I think, a little bit of a straight part in there. Not straight, we are talking about a face. There are no really straight lines in the face, but you know what I mean. It's not as round necessarily. And this is also very intense of a shadow here. I would probably tone everything in the face. That is not a line. I would tone it down a little bit. And I think that would take away a certain harshness that it has currently. Just added more recent stuff to Discord. Ah, very good. Can you work with that? I was going to start over, so this will help me so much. Okay, so just really go slowly to where you want to go then, Dana, if you really start new. Because, as I said, you can also, if you want to start anyway new, you can just first go for making this a little bit lighter in general, you know. And when you really start with the stuff you have to draw, and then start adding to a certain extent, but don't overshade. It is extremely difficult. As you said, in this picture, it is really a light picture. So if you really start to go in there and just go crazy with the shading, it automatically looks a little bit different, because you would have to be really light on the shading to get all of that right. So just concentrate, at least at first, on the really dark areas and the important areas, which would be next to the nose, this mouth area. And then a little bit here also on the sides, always, to make it a little bit 3D. And only if that doesn't satisfy you, go further. Yeah, but I would go like that, and it is... Otherwise, as I said, it is... There's not a lot to complain about. I like to complain, so I always find something. Hairline is really also really good. That's right, Kira. Yeah, the hair in general, also your use with the white. Rochelle is completely right. The use of the white, that it's really very good. I would continue with the white. I would not take back the white. When I was telling about the shading, I would actually use the white not differently than you have done. You're using the white perfectly. I would just go with the darkness probably in the face. I would tone that a little bit back, but just a little bit, and really consider that these are not lines, but light and shadow that meet. It could just be the size and the camera. Anyway, but I think you get what I mean now. Okay, so new stuff. Ooh, Stranger Things. Yeah, I saw that, I think. I had this. I loved Stranger Things, and this is really cool. You can definitely, you recognize Elle directly. The light and shadow. I'm not sure what is even done with. Is it gouache or watercolor that you're using here? It's not watercolor, right? It's too dark for. Is it watercolor? Really, and the flashes up here, really cool. Gouache, okay. And is that Frida Kahlo? It looks like Frida Kahlo. I love the flowers, the green, the contrast in here, and the colors are really cool. Love it. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing, Rochelle. And you can also put in chat your Instagrams if you want to, so everybody else can also check out. And yeah, if anybody wants to show something, we can do so. As I have now proven, I have Discord and Instagram able to show, but we will continue for now with my portrait. I have a feeling that this stream will take a little bit longer, but I think we should take the time because I love it to look at other people's stuff, and you guys are so talented. And I'm glad that you trust me with showing it here live on stream. Thank you very much. I think this gouache stuff is quite interesting. I've never used it, and I've only recently discovered that it even exists. And if I have seen it correctly, it can be used a little bit like watercolor. It can be used a little bit like... It's something of an in-between. That is how I have seen it for now. Not sure if that impression is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty interesting stuff. But I should first go further with my watercolors before I look into. I was actually looking into, what do you guys think about how do you even call it? You know, wood burning. I've seen some very amazing artists that are burning with those hot tools into wood portrait, and that is very close to black and white. And I was just asking myself, how do my pencil skills how would they translate with those tools? I'm just really it looks a bit old-fashioned-y, but also some to a certain extent like how it looks, and I'm just a bit curious. That's the word I'm missing. I'm quite curious how the pencil skills translate. Watercolor and acrylic mix. It feels like that. Of course, that's really important. Yeah, I've seen your unboxing. So for the first time this morning, I'm using a lot of watercolors and then added a tube of white gouache to help me do reflections on water. At least that's what I'm trying to do. I'm sure that Rochelle has some tips if you need to. I can show it on the stream, or you can just put it in. I think you both are on my Discord. So if you need advice in that area, Donna, if you put it into ask for advice, chance is that Rochelle will give you some tips. My mother did some wood burning things some years ago. Yeah, I've not seen it a lot on YouTube. I just stumbled across a channel, and that was really, really amazing looking stuff. Really realistic. It looks very old-timey, and I'm not sure that aesthetically I would hang something like that. But it looked also so skillful, and as I said, I'm just a little bit wondering if or how far my already made experience with monochrome techniques translate to that. I always forget that I have this pencil that still works here, because I cannot use it on the gray. Sometimes forget that I even have it. That's why I ruined this area. I like the idea of working on wood. I've been doing some pet portraits on wood lately. I've never seen anything. Oh, you work on wood but with colors, right? Do you think you would have the raw edge and the bark on the wood, or would you just do like a cutting board or something? Depends, right, on what you want to do with it. I would probably at first take whatever I could get, or if I would have some wood, I would just use it. If I would do something like a present, or if I wanted to hang it for myself, I would probably use something with bark for aesthetic purposes, give it that raw natural edge in addition to the drawing. But depends also on the motive and who I would give it as a present. If I knew whoever I would give a present to was more of a modern person in terms of taste, I would probably not leave the bark on it. First time with a white pastel, not what I expected. I was thinking it would be more like an oil pastel. I cannot tell you. I haven't used oil. I have found some that I at some point in time had, and probably I have also used it. I don't even know. I haven't reopened it, but I don't remember. And even if it would have been so long ago, then I probably would not be able to really tell and remember. So a lot of animal hair here right now. So I cannot tell you. I don't know. I am sorry. I could not prepare you sufficiently. Yeah, it is rough to work with that pastel. I think it's not easy to control. But it is worth it. It's not easy to shade with it, so for that actually I think such a blending stick helps to get it a little bit toned down. Or just a Q-tip or something. Very interested by this. What do you mean? Interested by what? Drew some cute, well, it's a long time ago, things that reminded me of a family member, and she copied the picture on wood. They became Christmas presents. That's cool. That's also amazing that you guys do art together. I have to admit, I like the picture so far. I think you can already recognize David Bowie. That makes me happy. I also think that there is still a lot to do. But also think it has potential. And I'm always a bit hesitant normally with those pictures that do not have that much skin detail visible, especially when it is not a young person. If it's a young person, it's not that important because there normally is not a lot of skin detail in there. With a little bit older persons, it's difficult to really get a sense of the age right without that skin detail. I'm not good in inventing it, so I prefer when my pictures show it so that I can replicate it. Interesting, the idea of working on wood and how you'd go about it. Okay. I think the only thing that makes me nervous about wood burning is that every mark is so final. That is so true. That is also something that has stopped me yet from trying a ball pen portrait, you know. There are also some cool portrait artists here on YouTube that have done a couple of those, and I always think you are so courageous to use something so final. So okay, I think I like it. So of course these areas aren't completely still barren, but here I'm a bit hesitant because I think I have at least to bring in that hair there. Oh, my little girl is sleeping and kicking around paper. Greyhounds are very animated when they sleep. They dream a lot and they dream very animated. It's really cute. I love drawing with others, not being watched. I feel a little bit watched right now. But if the other person also draws or colors something in, I really enjoy it, especially with my mom. Do enjoy that and do it as much as you can. And yes, your drawing really looks like the Bowie already. Thank you very much. I like the Muji pens or big round stick pens for drawing. I bet you'd like the big round because you can get a large variety of tones. You mean for shading and stuff? That brand name, I think I know those. I have to check that out at some point in time. I have to experiment again a little bit more. I also, all the time, I just want to do my next watercolor, but I don't manage to at the moment. It's really, the hair detail is very much lost in the picture static. Really not easy to replicate. You can get super light marks and develop them to darker. That sounds like something that would fit better to me. Watercolor, thank you very much. Yeah, I really want to do a green Hulk, you know, use a lot of green because I can't see green. No, I don't know why I'm so I'm gravitating so much towards exactly those colors that I don't really see that well. I don't know why. But I didn't make the Hulk green, so not my fault. It's also, I think, also one thing that I like about the watercolor is that it's a different format, a bit bigger. So even if you also go into it a little bit later or in the later stages to put in, you can put in a lot of detail. But in the beginning, you know, when you're going with a pencil, it's not like you have a big area and you can just say, okay, this will be the same shade, so click, and now it's shaded. You know, it's different. With watercolor, you can go very big, very fast, and that is enables a quite creative process that is different than with pens. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. So I'm really happy with everything I've done till now, and I feel good with everything that I'm adding. So something has to go horribly wrong at some point, or often it also then happens that I'm looking at it tomorrow and then I think, oh, what did I think? I'm really looking forward to what I think about this tomorrow. I will. I'm not sure when, but I will. Have to leave. Oh, thank you for even coming, Kira. I really appreciate it, and I hope you had fun. Thank you very much. Next stream is on Friday, if you have the time. And thank you. And hello, Kira. Welcome. So, thank you for coming. We have actually already looked at some stuff from others today also. So you have missed a couple of cool portraits from Dana and Donna. And although we have watched Portrait of Dana. I'm already confused again. But yeah, we have seen a couple of really cool pictures. Because I can now change to Instagram, show Instagram and Discord. Ha! Exactly, there should always be a keyword. That is a very good ground rule. So we have a face shape. I have to be careful here. We have been talking about lines, and this is not really a clear line. This is more light and shadow, so I don't want to make it too stark, too much of a line. I have a feeling that in mine it looks a little bit like he has no mouth, although it doesn't. I think I heightened the contrast a little bit too much with the lips. So how are you today, Kira? Have you already a new game that you're playing after Final Fantasy 15? Or is it the usual evergreen games for now? Ah yeah, the horse. How are the horses? I was actually also today again thinking about, I think you know that when I was young I was also horseback riding, haven't done it forever, but something like a cool little trip with a horse outside in the woods in nature would be pretty cool. I would probably fall off the horse in the first 10 meters. No experience whatsoever anymore. So long ago. It's not that much white, but it's actually, I think in the face there is not that much white. So I'm not sure how far I can push adding white surfaces in there, although it looks pretty cool. There will be a lot in the hair, obviously, but I don't think I can put more white into the face. So also, I think I was a bit too low here. I think I do not hate it. I might have to introduce a little bit more contrast. Thank you, Rochelle. I think it's much better than I feared it would look. I really did not expect it to look as much like him, just really because the picture doesn't give that much information, and he looks so ancient and mystical, I think, that it is difficult to capture. So I'm really happy for now with the outcome. Though I think I've made him a little bit more beefy in the face than he is. He's quite goblin-y. How do you say that in English? When you're very slim in a intense way? I don't know. The 10-tone paper, I'm also quite enamored with it, I think. I'm not sure that I will replace now every use of the gray with a 10 one, but at least every now and then. I have to see if I find a fixed purpose for it. Can enter a little bit of white in here, I think. Not too much. I think that's enough. We can do so also here. He looked good with elven ears. I'm not sure if he has. He very well could have some in that role. I think I'm not sure if you ever see his ears with that amount of hair in the way. I don't remember. I will look out for it next time I watch the movie. think a little bit of white also here. Just really barely. And a little bit here. Well, he's the Goblin King, so I wouldn't put it past him to have pointy ears. Michael Ward, can't stay, but I want to pop in and say hello and hit the thumbs up button. The drawing's looking great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael, for dropping by and just saying hi, and that it's good. I really appreciate that. I am actually also surprisingly happy with it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and tell me what you think. So I won't try to tempt you to stay, but if you have time to tell me how you are, I'm more than happy to know. I'm holding myself back from asking you too many questions when you already say you don't have time. I don't want to steal your time. So the hair will be very interesting. The hair will be a real challenge. The latest hair that I've drawn I was actually pretty happy with. Doing well, thank you. Leaving for the evening shift job now. Okay. So thank you so much for dropping by anyway, and have a good evening shift, a bearable evening shift. I hope it's not too bad and too long today. Okay, but I think the face is pretty advanced. There's not that much to do outside of the hair. There's the neck, of course. Looks a bit strange floating around right now. Also because I'm still not really happy with the shape of the face. Still looks a bit too not gaunt. Is that an English word? I just gone full on really bad hair day for Bowie. I remember these bad haircuts, they were really bad. I do not disagree, but he is a Goblin King. He shouldn't have too fantastic, beautiful hair. He has fantastic hair. Not in the beautiful way, but it is pretty fantastic, if you ask me. And yeah, I fear I also have to jump in now with the hair, but I'm not yet 100% sure how. So you are ahead of me. We'll probably do a little bit more here first. But I have no idea where my white one is. I'm normally using the white one, but I have no idea where it is. The white one is even harder than this one, although I do not. They are pretty replaceable with each other. I do not really notice that much of a difference. I'm saying that now. I would like to have the white actually to see if on this 10 paper, because I think this one is very visible on the 10 paper. I would like to test if the other one is a bit more of a or less visible, less intense here on the 10 paper, but I have no idea where that white one is. Sketch is amazing. Thank you very much, Donna. It's like a photo, the grainy reference photo today. Yeah, as I said, it is a bit of a challenge, and that's why it's not an official draw along. So you're very brave to join me in this. That one matches the red one. Yeah, it's more intense. The shirt is actually a kind of Harry Potter shirt, just with a cat. I like it. So we're having a big thunderstorm. Ooh, my little dog gets scared, so I went and put soothing dog music on. Does that work? I'm very sorry that your dog does hate it so much, but it is good for me because you can give me tips how to act. Just recently, our small one, did develop a fear of thunder. You know, we were going outside and then there was this strange, really strange thunder directly above us. It wasn't even raining at that moment. There was just that thunder. It was directly above us, extremely loud and very short, not the so really intense. And she just got so frightened, and now every time there's just a little bit in the in the distance, she just goes so full mode frightened. And it's so bad. It's especially bad because she's a greyhound, and greyhounds can stress themselves pretty comparatively easily to death. So they really, there is something that's, how is it? I have no idea how it's called in English. But when they get too stressed, they get into this mode where they just completely cramp up and cannot move anymore. And then in the extreme case, it can kill them. So as long as she's really afraid and watching around, I can actually still be quite happy, because that means it's not too bad yet. But if you have any music and stuff, hasn't worked yet. So if you have any other tips, anything else I can try. I've tried, you know, those weight blankets, but she, you know, what becomes dangerous for greyhounds is that they get a lot of body heat, and so I do not really want to put anything on her. Yeah, I'm also a Harry Potter fan, especially when Harry is a cat. Tab says stop shaking because I put it on a little speaker and I turn it up kind of loud. She hides under my son's bed. I actually also had the feeling that helped. I did that last time. I put on music and just put it really as loud as I could, which was a problem because I wanted to sleep. But it seemed to keep her a little calm. Because she just couldn't hear the growling in the distance anymore, you know. My mom always used to put a thunder jacket, yeah, with weights and stuff, right? Compression jacket, or is it just? So, yeah, as I said, I'm a bit hesitant to put anything on her that could help her to heat up too much. But that was my first thought. I actually I have a weighted blanket for myself, and I put it on her backside so she wasn't completely covered. But it did not really seem to help. But you don't know, you cannot look into her, and she refuses to give me more details. We can actually highlight a couple of those hairs here also, because they are nearly white. It also helps us here, even if it's not that white in here, but it helps us in this otherwise just empty area, because it is pretty much just blonde. We need something in there. It looks like you have forgotten it, even if it is pretty much like it is in the reference image. But sometimes we have to lie to make it look realistic, which sounds strange, but is the truth. And lie is perhaps a bit of a hard word for that. We have to take some artistic freedom. Heard of the compression jackets. I'm not sure if she would like it because it's so hot here in Texas. That's what I was thinking about my dog with heat, but I might try to see. As long as it's not a race where it can become an issue with heat, I think there's no harm in trying, because pressure and weight is something that it also works with humans, so that is something that definitely can help. I just don't think it... I'm afraid it would be unhealthy for mine, but that's greyhounds. Live in Iowa, so it can get pretty humid. Yeah. I would try it if it wasn't a greyhound. So it might seem like I procrastinate a little bit, so I do not have to go full in with the hair. But that is just because I'm procrastinating and do not want to go full in with the hair. So don't misunderstand that. This actually has to be more dark, a little bit more of a contrast. Anyway, this too. And the face is already kind of an optimizing face, so there won't be that much more to do in the face. After the stream, the hair is obviously a different story. What are these Cont white pastel pencils made of? Chalk? Graphite feels like chalk. It's called pastel. I cannot tell. I don't know. The wrong one. I should look at the right pastel. So it's called pastel. I would think it is kind of a chalk. And I agree, it feels like chalk. Thank you, Dana. and I'm sure they will. It is all. Also, when I look at my own stuff, you know, my first pictures, I'm not that happy with them always. But I see already a big improvement. So I'm happy with that. And that's why I'm making the channel. I'm not perfect. I want to record my journey. I'm not a learned artist after all. Donna, you asked before the stream is over anyway, and I did not give you a detailed answer on that because it's always takes a little bit longer, and also with the writing. So how I got to art is difficult to say, because my family, there's not really any kind of big artist tradition or something in my family. The ones that had talent and were doing stuff like art were pretty much dead when I was around. So my immediate family, there weren't really many people. I have no idea if they have any kind of talent, because I never really saw them doing anything art. So my mother had a friend, and she was an actual artist, so really with gallery openings and stuff like that. And she was so nice that, against money of course, but she didn't do that because before my mother asked, so she took a little bit of money and gave us, me and my cousin, real art lessons. Which is because she hasn't really ever done it prior. I learned so much, but it was also very dry. And all I wanted to do as a kid was draw my own comics, my own comic books. So really being able to draw bodies, anatomy and stuff in simplified comic form. I never learned that. Perhaps I will someday, now that I am trying to find my own way in art and develop. That helped already, again, quite a lot with the contrast. Ha. Perhaps I should go even darker in these areas, a little bit. And yeah, I stopped when I started with studying. I did not draw anymore, just a little bit. But when I started working, not at all. I don't remember if I've drawn a single picture after I finished university. And then last year I rediscovered it. Just for fun, I was drawing a streamer friend from Twitch actually, and it worked. It was my first picture in years, and it looked okay, I would say. You could recognize him. So that intrigued me, and I since then started with this channel within a month. And yeah, so you can see, apart from 2 portraits I drew before I started the channel, you can see everything that I have drawn in the last 10 years on this channel. I love how you said that your channel is your way to share your journey. I totally resonate with that statement. Yeah, but it's the truth. I really, this is just, you know, I have so much fun with I started with gaming. There's still If anybody's interested, the gaming greyhound, it's still out there. I think have I even linked it? I have no idea. That I did prior, before I did the art channel, but then I changed to art, and because I had so much fun with the process of doing those videos also, and having a YouTube channel, it's just fun. So I really wanted to do that, and not because I think I'm the greatest artist in the whole wide world and people have to watch me and my genius or anything. I really just did it because there were so many also good small art channels out there, and you could connect with them, you could watch them, you could connect with you guys and go on this journey and discover new stuff and just try and grow together, not in the sense as you hear so often on YouTube, grow your YouTube channel together, but really from an artist standpoint, you know. And I've learned so much from all of you. You don't always see it directly because some of you are using color, but there is still stuff in there. And even if it's just the sense of new stuff and opening up to try new things, there's so much I've learned from each and every one of you. So thank you very much for spending time with me and teaching me. So, but I think this is all I can do for today. That is our David Bowie. How, Rochelle, I've seen you had something posted on the Discord, I think. Was that something I should... Oh, I want to show that. I will show that. Doggo! Okay, so, let me see. Is there a way how I can... here. We'll change to Discord. Look at that doggo. Just want to put this also here so people see what we have drawn. Oh, let me put it here. It doesn't look like it will fall from the screen every second. So look at that doggo. Look at the hairs. That is amazing. I would say the artist funk is over, isn't it? That is so amazing. I love the shading on the ears, the shadows, and you know what I always struggle with, also in pencil, but especially when I play around with colors. The difference between light and shadow and color in the hair, you know, in the, what do you call it, fur, that if you put in dark colors, black fur, that doesn't just look like shadow specks. So that is so amazingly well captured here in areas like, I cannot see it there. Why can't you see it? That's fun. In areas like this, that's really good. I'm really looking forward to see that completed. Will that be a video? Are you filming it? Love it. Yeah, the eyes. I'm also wondering, Have the white in the eyes? You haven't put any color in there, right? Or is that still some brown? You know, I'm not that good with colors. It's very small. No, there is color in there, but it looks, yeah, there is color. It looks so lively. I love it. I'm so envious. Art fuck is over. Yay. Drawing my sketchbook helped and watching these videos. Working on it for a friend. For some reason that was my association anyway, that this is kind of a commission. There's a very small section of white on the right eye. Slightly larger section of white on the left inner eye. Yeah. You need also a lot of patience to draw this much detail. Really, really cool. Okay, but I think we are done for today. Thank you so much for sharing these pictures with us. I really appreciate that I am allowed to show that. And not a commission, just a remembrance of all. I don't even want to hear that story. For some reason, always those animal and especially dog stories, and also cat stories and deer stories and whatever animals, they always hit so close to home. I think it's just so sad with animals when you lose them. Terrible. So nice of you to do that for your friend then, because I think that will really help with that whole, you know, I've tried to draw my cat that I lost late last year, and in watercolor it looked so terrible. I stopped. Although with watercolor it starts to look better and better and better the more detail you put in. They always start a little bit wonky, so perhaps I should have just continued, but I couldn't at that point in time. It was just a bit difficult. Breaking up with Bowie, we're over. He is not the easiest target, so I'm sorry that I have selected David Bowie this time. But next time, as I said, it will probably be Scarlet Witch. So everybody who wants to join in, Rochelle, Donna, I hope you will all be interested again, but I understand it is a time commitment, so if you don't have the time, of course. But next week, this time slot, we will probably be drawing Scarlet Witch. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I thank you very much, every one of you, for spending your time with me. I really appreciate that. And that's what makes this so much fun. So thank you. And yeah, next stream is the day after tomorrow already. Time is flying. And that will be a Buffy-centric stream. So I should not forget now to go on the Discord and ask for nominations for our Buffy episodes we were watching this week in the Buffy Club. So if you're interested in also voting who should be drawn on Friday, if you're not yet on my Discord, down in the description there should be the link. Let me quickly check if that is actually the case. I hope so. There is a link to the link tree. Let me check. Yes, and there you can find the link to my Instagram, Twitter, and the Discord. You can join there and decide with the others who will be the next victim on Friday. I'm not sharp when I'm leaning back. I'm pretty unsharp, out of focus. That's English. Sharp. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Thank you very much, Donna. When do we post pictures again? Sorry. Which pictures? For where do we post pictures again? It depends. I should probably consolidate it. We don't need probably that many folders, but the idea was that in the ask for advice folder, everything is posted in where you really want to have feedback for anything that you are drawing. Or also, it is not just for pictures actually. If you edit videos or stuff, you can also ask that there. Then there is the show your art, when you only want to show art, like Rochelle now has. She has not asked how should I draw the fur on that fur baby, but she showed us all her progress, and that is show your art. And I have created the draw along folders specifically for the draw along, although I've also I'm putting in the reference pictures for all the other videos, so I should probably, it's not perfect anymore. And work in progress and the completed work, that is actually only for the draw along, because I wanted to be able to also find them quickly for showing them on stream. That's one of the reasons why I have this structure here for the draw along, but that doesn't match that well anymore with the others. So yeah, if you want to have advice, you can put it into ask for advice. If you just want to show off your art, you can put it in show your art. And everything you draw for the draw along, you can put in work in progress or completed work in the draw along folder. So that is the current structure. I will see if I can make it a little bit more easy. I would not be able to give you advice, Rochelle, because you are so above and beyond everything that I could give you advice in that. So if anybody else has advice, I cannot. So I also want definitely to see your Bowie, Donna. If I might I'm thinking about if I would put anything now in the video, if you would allow me to, if I would even put it in there. If I should open that up more or less for everybody that is drawing along, or make more or less every video a draw along, because why not? Although I always will come in prepared. Not next week, because that's the official draw along, but it would take too long if I do that every time. So we'll probably always post the picture early so everybody can prepare, but it will more or less always be a draw along. So I have to think about my video structure, just if I show stuff that people have drawn. And if I do something like define timeframes when that has to be posted, then Discord wants your money. Oh. Looks like the file is too big. Sometimes you just have to wait a little bit and then you can post it for, I don't know why, but with my smartphone is also like that sometimes I take a picture and I directly want to post it and it is a bit too big, and sometimes I take a picture and then I wait a little bit longer and then I post it and then it's not too big anymore. It's a bit strange. Can I show it already, Donna? Is that okay with you? He looks a little bit sad, but is definitely Bowie. If you don't say no soon, I will switch to Discord. Okay, I will switch to Discord. So there we have Donna's Bowie. You are so much further than I am. So you're writing a few problems here, but I think eyes are the major one. Tried to fix it, but didn't work. He looks a little bit sad. That I have to say, but other than that, it's also you also have to see, let me put it here again, how much more you have drawn in that time frame. If you have been slower, there would be probably more precision in it, but you don't need it because it really, I love the style actually. This line, for example, it's very hard. I think if you would make this a little bit softer, it would give the face less of a less harshness. But the makeup, it's all there. The white is pretty cool for the first time you've used it. You've used it to a great effect. I'm thinking about putting in that spark into the eye, because you have put it in, I haven't. And yeah, but if you look at the picture, Donna, that eye is higher. The right eye is also, in part, it's just also in an optical illusion because of the different color. But the head is a little bit tilted, and the right eye is higher. So his left eye is higher than the other one. So it's not wrong. I would probably even say, if you would have raised the right eyebrow a little bit in conjunction with that eye, that could have been, but you don't even need to. Also, the detail and the shading is all there. I'm really impressed again, especially with the time that you have used to do this. And with your first use of the white, also here the hair. His, what you call bad hair day. He has a bad hair day, but as a Goblin King he's allowed to. Let me see. So I think the eyes are too big. It's always too big. If you want to do more or less a photocopy of what is in the original, then they are perhaps a little bit too big. Yeah, but not extremely so. I think actually that you could, you know, those eyes have a bit more shading perhaps in them. You can make them look a little bit smaller. You have very uniform white here, left and right from the eye. You can make it look a little bit smaller here, in so far that you just, you know, in his picture, in the picture actually, let me show you, because I'm also could make it a little bit darker here. You know, you have the oval face of the eye, but you have here already more or less like a line going down. Not much lines, but there's more or less a line that makes the eye there look a little bit more flat, and a little bit shading on that side that make them already look a little bit smaller. And that, because there is also a lot of makeup there that makes them look bigger. So if you shade that white a little bit to make it more round, that would, I think, already be pretty, would be enough. I don't think that in general they are too big. Too close together. His left eye, from our perspective here, the right one. Why isn't I have to click the window so you can see the mouse. Learn something new. It could be a bit further to the right, but let me check. So if I put my pencil, I can show you here on mine because this is visible. If I put my pencil here in between, or I have a brush here right now to measure. There is a good space between eye and nostril. When I put it at yours, yeah, it looks like the right eye could be a little bit more to the right. But you have quite, you have a very, what I like to call also a dynamic, dynamic lines in the best sense of the word. I think this has a very distinct style. This is something I always struggle with, my personal style, to have a personal style. Every picture somehow looks a little bit different that I'm drawing, so I do not have that much of a personal style. I feel like it. And this has a style. This is very interesting. It is not a carbon copy of the picture, but I really like how it looks. And especially with the amount of the white. You've been very intense with the white, which is not necessarily like it is in the picture. For example, this one is very white with you, and it's just a little bit of a in the reference picture, just a little bit of a whiteness, but it brings balance into your picture, which is not present in the original photo. So nothing that you need to change. But the right eye could be a bit more to the right, yes, but really do not hesitate to measure. You know, take that or do such. That's not exactly measuring what I'm doing here, but if you put just like here the brush or something, a pencil, you can just take a pencil and put it in here and see, okay, in relation to this, I have the nostril complete on that side, the eye complete on that side. So there has to be a space between, and then you look where you are, and if you have it the same way. It all depends always how close to a portrait you want to go. Your approach is much more artistic, which is not a negative thing. Not at all. And I am very sure that I would have said to you, if you have showed me that without me knowing where it's from, that I would have said that's the Goblin King from Labyrinth. So it is already very well done. And as I said, in a quite small time frame. So well done, definitely well done, Donna. Really hate that haircut. I agree, and I will hate it even more after I have needed to draw it, which I have avoided so far. Okay, but thank you that I could share that. And yeah, other than that, I would say that's it for today. Probably my longest stream yet. Done with less precision because less time. Very honestly, look at the amount that you have drawn, and if I would have drawn in that time frame that much as you have done, it would also have been much less precise than what I have drawn here. And that is really just something to experiment with. That also warrants, for example, if you just go for a single aspect of a face and try that. So you are training a lot, and I would say do not always just train with a full face. Yes, if you train with just a mouth or just an eye, do not get too fixated on that. How that one eye looks, and do not translate that necessarily into your other portraits, but you still learn a lot, and also a lot about details and precision, and just take a single element and put really time into it. Because also, if you look at your David Bowie now, and on your picture of your grandchild and your daughter-in-law, that's already, again, a big difference in detail. And I would expect that you have drawn a long time longer on the other picture. So sometimes it's just a little bit of time. It is anyway a bit of training. And push yourself by going into one of those details and say, okay, you take a Pixabay, for example. That is a site where you get a lot of free pictures, or you just use Google Picture Search and search for eye or mouth. I would really go with an eye because there is an extreme amount of detail in there, and it can look very cool. That's why everybody's going with eyes when they do close-ups. And just to push yourself with your details, take your time for just one element and really go in there, and you will be surprised how far along you are. I'm sure you will be surprised. Yeah, you can see Rochelle, the picture anyway in Discord if you have missed it on the stream, but it looks like you have seen it. I may not have quite enough patience. I have trouble letting watercolors dry for next layer. I so understand that, but it is all really it's a matter of patience sometimes, and I completely understand. Let me show you something of a great artist that is that I like to visit. That is streaming on Twitch. Let me show you what he is doing, because he is doing. Let me give you the introduction first. He's sitting longer than a week on one picture, and he's streaming almost every weekday. He's 4 days. He's talking a lot. He's joking a lot. He's talking very much. He's not always drawing, but if you look at his pictures, at the amount of detail here in this one, for example. Can I zoom this in somehow? Look at that. That's a level of patience that I'm not sure I will ever. I do not know if I want to reach that, but that is a level of detail that's just crazy. My favorite of him is he. This one is so good. I really want a print of this. He would not be able to do anything if you. There are some that he drew faster, and you see that difference. He is. Look at this. It's good, but it's nowhere near those other pictures. So sometimes it's just a matter of patience and time. But he does amazing stuff. It is insane, right, Rochelle? That is something I would not be able to do. He is drawing right now. Oh, look at her. I love Tilda Swinton. And that is also just crazy. It's not even that big, as much detail as in the Nicolas Cage one. But still, especially when you zoom out a little bit, it just looks like a picture. It is really amazing. You can find, I will just, if you're interested, I will just post the where am I? We'll post his Instagram here in the studio. Or this baby, it's just, this is something I don't reach by far. And in part it is patience. I do not want to draw 2 hours a day, 3 weeks at a time at one picture. Oh, these hair. Look at that hair. Oh, the reflection. It is crazy. He's really good. Okay, so, but enough about him. If you don't have other amazing stuff, we should take a look at right now. I will thank you all for being here and spending time with me. I don't have that patience either, Donna. Definitely not. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. This is so much fun. I am very happy with how the picture turned out today. Let me switch back to the picture so you can have a last look at it. With the amount of time I put into it, I'm happy with the result, at least today. So thank you so much. And to everybody who is also not here anymore, or everybody that watched without texting, I appreciate all of you being here and checking out what I am doing. I hope I will see you soon, next Friday or Wednesday, and I hope you will draw with me on Wednesday. And other than that, I just say a last thank you and have a great day, and see you soon. Perhaps on my Discord. Goodbye.